What kind of man chooses to live where even God forgot to look? Where the land is older than mercy, and justice rides on horseback. They called it the frontier. But to the ones who bled on its soil, it was not a frontier. It was a test. Before there were towns, before there were sheriffs, saloons, or songs about glory, there was only the land. Unforgiving. Endless. A sea of dust and silence stretching from the Mississippi to the Pacific. Men came west with nothing but a rifle and a dream. Some sought gold. Some sought peace. Most never found either. The land didn't care who you were. It swallowed the proud and broke the desperate. And yet, it called to them whispering promises of freedom if they could just survive. Freedom wasn't free out here. It came with frostbite, hunger, and a grave no one would mark. They say a man could ride for weeks and never see another soul. When he finally did, he had to decide friend or foe. Because out here, hesitation was death. Every sunset carried the same question. Would you live to see the next one? Before civilization, there was no law, only men with guns and the strength to use them. Justice came from the barrel of a Colt revolver, and mercy was a luxury no one could afford. Bandits and settlers, hunters and wanderers, all bound by one rule: survive. A man's name meant nothing unless others feared to speak it. And yet, in the darkest corners of the West, there were still those who tried to live by a code. A simple one: do right, even when no one's watching. They were the silent backbone of the frontier. Women who buried their pasts and built new lives from dust. Some were widows, some were runaways. All were survivors. They mended wounds, raised children, and waded through winters that would kill a weaker soul. Their stories were never written in books, but they were the reason the West endured at all. When the men fell, it was the women who stood. Long before the pioneers, this land already had a heartbeat. The native tribes, Sioux, Apache, Comanche, they understood what the settlers never did. To them, the land was alive.
For generations,
every mountain had a spirit.
Lake and forest.
Every river carried memory. But the West wasn't conquered, it was taken. With treaties written in lies and promises broken in blood. Civilization came wearing a smile and carrying a rifle. When the railroads came, they cut through sacred land like veins of iron. The wilderness shrank. The silence faded. And the men who once ruled the open plains found themselves cornered. By fences, by taxes, by time itself. Progress, they called it. But for many, it was the end of the world they had known. Every town that rose was built on someone's forgotten grave. Yet even now, if you stand in the deserts of Arizona or the plains of Montana, and the wind hits you just right, you can still hear them. The echoes of boots, the whisper of prayers said over cold graves. The heartbeat of men and women who refused to kneel before nature or man. They were the first Americans to truly taste freedom, and the first to pay for it in full. Before civilization, there was courage. Before cities, there was solitude. And before laws, there was the truth of the frontier. The West wasn't built by heroes. It was built by survivors. Yeehaw, partners. Saddle up for more untold tales of the Wild West. Smash that like, subscribe, and share button to keep the frontier alive.